This is my video evaluation of my media product that I have created. I created 4 pages of my magazine, a front cover, contents page and a double page spread. The name of my magazine is Emerged. I decided to call my magazine this as indie rock and alternative rock has emerged from punk rock. This started to happen back in the 1980s. The genre of my magazine is mainly indie rock, and my target audience is about 60% males and 40% females. My target age is around 16 to 22 years old. The music magazine that inspired me when creating my 4 pages was Kerrang! I enjoy reading this magazine, the content and the conventions of this magazine, so I thought it would be good if I tried to copy the conventions of Kerrang! Also, this magazine is aimed at the same target age as the magazine I have created. Therefore, I could relate easily to the content in my magazines and the content in Kerrang's magazine. For example, subscribing for reasonable cheap prices, as young people don't have that much money to be spending on magazines every week. Also, the competitions. In the magazine, I wanted to have competitions that people aged 16 and 22 will actually want to enter. Instead of having pointless competitions people wouldn't bother entering. This will get my readership up, as more people will buy the magazine. Similarities between my magazine Emerge and a real magazine Kerrang! Is the banner on both pages is at the top. It is advertising what is inside the magazine on both front pages. I have created the banner to look similar to Kerrang! Magazine, as I wanted my page to follow similar conventions of Kerrang! Instead of 15 studio reports, I decided to have 10 new album reviews, as I thought this would grab the attention of my audience, as they are reviews of what albums are good and bad right now. This gives my audience an idea of what genre of music Emerge magazine is. The similarity is that I have a large cover line running across the middle of my front cover. Also, I add a stroke onto my cover headline to make it stand out a little more. This is a lot like the one used in Kerrang! I have tried to use the same kind of positioning of my images as the magazine that inspired me by Kerrang! Also, for the cover lines on my front page, I decided to add a banner behind them, as they didn't stand out. This is the same convention used on Kerrang's front cover. I think it works well and looks quite professional. In my magazine's front cover and Kerrang's front cover is that I wasn't able to create the same effects as Kerrang's cover, as I didn't have the correct skills to take my work further. For example, the background of the banner at the bottom of the page and the banner at the bottom of Kerrang's page. Mine is quite simple and Kerrang's is much more professional. Also, the title of my magazine is quite simple and more readable, as I decided not to put the main cover image over the text too much, as I want my audience to be able to read the whole title. This is because, unlike Kerrang!, my magazine is not well known, so needs to be readable. On my double page spread, I use the same magazine to inspire me, as I thought that it fit my genre of magazine, indie rock. The jagged lines of the title and the large image going across both pages. I tried to make the title of this page on Photoshop to make it look as close as to the one on Kerrang! I ended up drawing the words in, as I couldn't find a font that I liked and wanted to use. I think it worked well, as the page looks similar to Kerrang's double page spread. Some of the differences were that I used different fonts, and the image on my double page spread is much closer of the models that I used. A major difference is that the band is not male. This is my main feature, and I wanted to make my magazine a female feature magazine, which I added to my editor's note on the contents page. Another difference is that on my title I created, the bold text is just in red, not like the one in Kerrang!, which is a Union Jack flag as the background. This reflects the article, as it is about the band coming back to the UK, but I didn't think this was appropriate for my article. Contents page. Both my magazine Emerge and Kerrang! Are very similar. This is because I wasn't sure how to make my contents page look professional without prestige. So I decided to make my contents page look quite similar to Kerrang's. My house style that I used is very similar to this contents page, so I think this page works well. The image I chose are different as I didn't take any while I was at the local gigs, so I couldn't add that to my contents page like the one in Kerrang. Also, as this is my first magazine, I couldn't add lots of magazines to the part of the page where it is about subscribing to the magazine. Therefore mine looks very basic compared to Kerrang's. I added an editor's note to my contents page as Kerrang had one on their contents page. I think it looks effective as I scanned a signature of my name to make it look personal to the reader. Also, it gives the reader a little insight as to how the editor has put this week's issue together. Also, it makes them feel part of the company as the reader feels close to the editor as to what they enjoy about the issue.